Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. A special warm welcome to anybody who's new here. I'm KiwiSimsKate, Kiwi because I'm from New Zealand, Sims because I love The Sims, and Kate because that's my name. It's as simple as that. I want to start this video by giving my nephew Yamato a big shout out. I'm fairly confident he's going to be watching this video. He is visiting here in New Zealand at the moment. He lives in Japan. He's the oldest of 3 children from my brother. So my brother is also visiting, and he brought his oldest kid, Yamato, over to New Zealand. They're here for almost 3 weeks, and they haven't visited in more than 3 years. So it's been a long time since I've seen them both in person, and thanks COVID for that. So I hope that you enjoy this video, Yamato, and yeah, big shout out to you. Hi, love having you here in New Zealand, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your stay. I'm bringing you another speed build today, and this build I was inspired to do because of the new pack that's coming out soon. In case you're watching this sometime way in the future, I am talking about July 28th, 2022. We are getting High School Years expansion pack for The Sims 4, and I'm really excited about this. I like pretty much any pack that we get that expands on the different generations and the different ages that we get in the game. I actually don't really consider myself much of a game player though, so it's a bit weird that I'm that excited about this. But I do play. I have been starting to play a lot more of the gameplay on my Twitch streams live, which you can follow me along if you're interested, if you're not already following me there, twitch.tv/KiwiSimsKate. I stream twice a week, and at the moment we are predominantly doing gameplay, even though I would probably consider myself more of a builder. We have a legacy challenge going on at the moment, which I'm really attached to, and we're also doing a lesser known challenge called the Globetrotter challenge, which is a lot of fun as well. But anyway, I am getting off point. So this new pack comes out soon. It hasn't been released yet as I'm recording this and building this, but I did want to design something that could work in the world. Now I've already seen some footage of the new world and some builds by some of the EA game changers, and it's not necessarily the same kind of style. There's a kind of an odd mix of styles, of build styles that we're going to get, which I'm excited to try out. I think I heard some people mention like Art Deco, and a few other type like styles. We're also getting some really interesting objects to build with and decorate with. We're going to be getting a functional window that your Sims can climb out of as if they are, I don't know, misbehaving teens sneaking out at night, which is quite interesting. I don't know how buggy it's going to be to begin with. I'm hoping it works perfectly, but you know, experience will tell us that there may be some struggles, so we'll see. 28th of July, it's out anyway. I'm really excited to get my hands on it and try it, both for the gameplay and for the build buy and creator some stuff. Just it all looks really cool. Looks like a great big pack. We haven't had an expansion pack for quite some time. I think Cottage Living was our last one, which was like a year ago or something. So I'm stoked. Which leads me on to my build today. This is a large family home, and I designed it with teenagers in mind. So I've called it like a dream teen suburban, and obviously it's like a quite American style suburban build, but I decorated it so that all the kids' rooms are a little older. So I didn't do, often if I'm doing a big family home, I'll do children's rooms across all the ages, so maybe a nursery, but probably a toddler's room and a child's room, and maybe like a teenager's room or an older child's room. But this one has actually got it has 3 children's bedrooms and a parent's bedroom, and the children's bedrooms are decorated, or I had in mind at least one teenager for each of 2 rooms, and then 2 twin children who are maybe like older children, so maybe they're really close to aging up to teens. Maybe they're like tweens, or I don't know, like 11ish or 12 years old, and then there'd be a teen that was maybe kind of mid-teens, and then a teen that is almost off to university. And I will kind of explain once we get to the interior which room at least I had in mind for those characters if you were to, populate this build with Sims to match the rooms. But anyway, let's head back to the exterior, which is what I'm working on now. It came together fairly quickly, although you will be probably looking at the timing of this video, and it's certainly one of my longer ones, if not maybe the longest. It's a good 40 minutes long, just over. I did try and get it down. You'll see there's a bunch of places where, the scenes kind of fade from one to the other, where I've clearly cut some building out. I didn't want the build to be too long. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of watching really long speed builds. I would say like 50 minutes, 50, that would be, that's like the maximum amount of time I want to sit and watch a speed build. But if I can get them in around half an hour, that's ideal, 20 to 30 minutes. But unfortunately, this was a big build. It did take me a long time, and I didn't want the speed build to make no sense. So I wanted to try and keep in as much as possible. So it is a bit longer, but hey, watch it in 2 parts if you don't have a lot of time to sit and watch through 40 minutes now. I do hope you enjoy it. If you do, please leave me a comment below. Let me know what you like about it. What is it that would draw you to this build? I really like building suburban style homes. Particularly love decorating really cozy, family oriented, warm and inviting kitchens, dinings and living rooms. I guess those would be my favorite, and I always spend the most amount of time on them. And then everything else is kind of like fun, but those are my favorite rooms to decorate, particularly kitchens, because I think that you can get such variety. Once it goes to like bedrooms, they start to, once you've been building a long time, it is difficult to try and kind of think of fresh new ideas. So you'll see this build is split over 2 levels. There's a ground floor and a first floor, and I've used a bit of a mixture of wallpapers for the outside. So there's actually 3 different wallpapers on the outside of the build, plus the brick like faux chimney. Well, I guess it's a chimney, but I build up walls around the chimney and then place a chimney in the top of a half wall. So I use one brick for the exterior and 2 different sidings. One, I think it's the base game siding, which is just like the really plain thin one, and one which is the scalloped siding from Cats and Dogs in slightly different tones. Actually, I go back near the end of the build and I change the color of the plain siding to, oh gosh, I can't remember now. I think a blue. I just didn't feel like the colors of the house were popping much. You've got the brick obviously, but I just sort of, I felt like it was a bit too plain. I like a lot of detail in the exterior of my homes. I want them to feel fairly real. I'm also, you can see I put a red door in here, and this is my new favorite thing to do. I think my new favorite door style in The Sims is a red door. Was it my last speed build? No, 2 speed builds ago, I built a small home using my shell from my shell challenge, and I used a red door in that, and I thought it looked really great with this dark brick I paired it with. And ever since obviously I haven't discovered that red door because I'm sure a lot of other people have used it, but ever since I used it for the first time in one of my builds, I've wanted to use a red door in everything. I think that it adds real character. I love I lived in London for a while, and a red door, whenever there's like a freshly painted red door on a cute English townhouse, I just think it looks really cool. It adds a lot of character. It pops, and it looks a bit classy. So that's the story behind my red door. And then the kind of main area of the outside is done. I go back at the end and I do the landscaping, more planting, and a few more details after I do the back kind of patio area. But for now, I move inside and starting on the ground floor. So it took me a while in this build to figure out my floor plan. I didn't know. I have a habit of building long, kind of horizontally long builds for homes. My legacy home currently is like this. And I find it kind of tricky when it comes to splitting the house up into different rooms, because I maybe don't leave enough depth to the house. I need to get more into the habit of making the house a little more square and less rectangular, I think. I don't know, just something that I've kind of noticed myself slipping into that I want to practice on, and I want to change that habit for sure. But I do finally figure something out. It is a big build, and I had also a little bit of trouble filling all the spaces. You'll see me, I do the interior of the house, and then I do the exterior, some landscaping in the backyard, and then I come back inside at the very end to do the last room and hallway downstairs that I honestly completely forgot about. I left it because I couldn't decide what I wanted to make out of it. I had some ideas, but I hadn't really fully committed to anything. And then at the end, I realized that I still hadn't done it. So I do eventually go back and I include it in the speed build. And you'll see what I turn it into at the end. But this is the kitchen shape pretty much done. I really wanted to do this sunken space for the dining area. I knew I wanted to do a sunken space somewhere where using the platforms, but I wasn't sure if I was going to make it into the living area or the dining area. So here you'll see me make it into the dining space, and I love this kitchen. I love how much bench space there is. There's so much bench space. And I would love a kitchen like this. I don't really do a ton of I don't cook a whole lot or bake a whole lot, but I do enjoy it when I get time to do it. And I feel like I would be more inclined to do it if I had a lot more space. I just feel like there's more freedom in the kitchen. And it doesn't feel so cramped. So this would be an absolute dream kitchen. The colors are, I don't know, not they would be my first picks, but I do think it makes a really cute Sims kitchen and really feels really warm and inviting and kind of a family space. So I imagine they gather in the kitchen quite a lot. Maybe they cook together or bake together. The kids, the teenagers, probably grab a quick breakfast at the breakfast bar before grabbing their lunch and heading off to school. Yeah, and I think that maybe the parents do a lot of cooking in here. Maybe the dad does a lot of cook. Maybe the dad cooks a lot and the mum likes canning. I don't know. You can, I think it's definitely an entertainer's kitchen or a cook's kitchen. So if your sim does enjoy cooking, it could be perfect for that. There's a lot of space. And I think the colours are quite cute and inviting. Kind of stick with some core colours, so using the inspiration of the tile that I use in here from, I think it was Parenthood, and also the counters, which are also from Parenthood. I tie a lot of that orange, pink, blue, and a little bit of green, sort of an aqua green, and try and incorporate that throughout the kitchen. Like the bar stools are a blue, which match the rubbish bin, which match the curtains, which match the fridge, and I think also the oven. Maybe I think I changed the oven to match a bit more. And the dining room stays fairly simple. It's got these, I use like double sliding doors out to the patio area, and there's also a door to the internal garage and internal access garage space, which I wasn't sure initially if I was going to use one of the decorative cars inside the garage, but then I thought it kind of fits with having this home full of teenagers, young people who are growing up fast, have a lot of hobbies, maybe play a lot of sports. So I thought it was, a better idea to turn the garage into more of a sort of functional hobby space, a bit of a workout area. There's a punching bag and some other things. So I liked that more, and I put 2 cars, obviously they can't be driven, they're just decorative, 2 cars in the driveway outside of the garage. I don't include the footage, but I do use the tool mod to rotate one of the cars, the truck, so that it is sloping down the driveway, because when you try and place it on a slope, if you've used the landscaping tool, it will hover. It doesn't like that. So after a lot of stress, because I have never ever used the rotate function in the tool mod, a lot of stress later, I finally figured it out. So I hope you all appreciate how much stress I went through for that. But I cut the footage out because it took me way too long. I put something just simple in the entranceway. There's like the decorative hutch from laundry. I think it was laundry day stuff. A cloak rack and a plant, I think there was. And then just putting up these curtains. I loved using these green, orange, yellow cream curtains that came with, I want to say, Cats and Dogs. They either came with Cats and Dogs or Parenthood. I used a lot of Parenthood in this pack and quite a bit of Cats and Dogs too, but I wanted to specifically use a lot of Parenthood just because it's got so many great items for family homes. A lot of cool kids clutter, like what I'm placing here in the living room, the little like craft box. I love that. It's so cute. And then I really thought that the color scheme started to come together when I placed these sofas, and I was lucky enough to find these armchairs that kind of match. They're like close enough. They've got the yellow in them, and they've got that kind of, I don't know what kind of green you would call that, but that whatever that green is, it goes really well with the sofas and also the curtains. What am I thinking of the word? Not carpet, the floor mat. The rug, that's the word. The rug I use in the living room also has those sort of orangey yellow tones to it, which are in the cushions and in the curtains. In terms of the wood colours that I use and textures that I use in this house, I don't necessarily match everything perfectly, but I do try and use warm tones of wood. So nothing too dark, nothing too light either. Just those kind of really nice warm honey browns, medium browns. Again, trying to create this really warm space that this family can come home to after either a hard school day or a hard work day maybe for the parents. And also downstairs in the living space I put a fish tank, which I don't use often enough. I think it's a really cute object, and when I create like a large family home where I think that maybe the parents have got a little bit of money, they might not be rich, but they're doing okay for themselves. They can obviously afford quite a few cool things for their kids, and they can afford to have, quite a large family. So, I always try and use one of those bigger fish tanks in homes like this. I think that it's just a nice decoration to have. And also the fish tanks, I think, come in a really interesting range of styles, whereas some objects in The Sims can really frustrate me because we've got, 5 versions that all pretty much look the same. The fish tanks, I feel like all the different swatches are quite different styles. You've got ultra modern ones, you've got ultra traditional ones. I kind of think the range of them is perfect. Also, I think it's a cool decoration to add where it's low stakes. And what I mean by that is your fish, well, at least I don't think they do. Correct me if I'm wrong, please, in the comments. But I don't think your fish can die. Like, you don't have to continually feed them, right? Is that right? I think once you've populated the fish tank, they just are happy as Larry, just swim around, and they're there forever unless you remove them. Please correct me if I'm wrong. This is showing how much I do the gameplay. Upstairs as well, I will get to it, but it just reminded me talking about the fish tank. I add a hamster, which I hardly ever use as well, which I thought was cute, seeing as there are a lot of kids in this house. This is the garage now, and you also just saw me do the downstairs bathroom, so maybe I feel like there should be one extra bathroom in this house. I just couldn't fit it. Even though it's a huge house, I just didn't find a space to put another one. I really wanted to do an ensuite for the parents' room, but it just wasn't going to work. It was either going to be too small or just give me a nightmare with the floor plan. So there are only 2 bathrooms in this house, one upstairs, one downstairs. They're both full bathrooms, and then the downstairs one has the laundry attached, so you walk through the laundry to get to the bathroom, and the laundry also has 2 washers, 2 dryers, because I feel like with 4 teenagers or almost teenagers, there's going to be a lot of washing to do in this house. I feel bad for these parents. Hopefully the kids help out a lot. Anyway, we've just missed it now, but that was the garage. I really liked how it turned out. I put those rugs down, the ones that come in, like the one object with the 3 different rugs. I thought it kind of felt appropriate, like they're just some of their old house rugs maybe that they let the kids use down in the garage, and the punching bag, the woodworking table. Oh, also the water balloon bucket. I use that, I think, outside as well as in the garage. And the dartboard. Obviously the boxes as well, they can function as real storage for your Sims, which is really cute. I like that. I never remember to use them, but I think it's a cute, really cute idea that they've added in. And then upstairs as well, there is a bathroom, which I explained before. Unfortunately, I did cut out the footage of creating the bathroom for this build because I just wanted to get the video down to a viewable length. I mean, even 40 minutes I think is maybe too long, but it would have been a lot longer if I'd kept that second bathroom as, and it's not the most exciting thing to watch, honestly. It's very similar to the downstairs bathroom, which I did keep in the footage of. I use mostly the same swatches. I think one has got a few more blue tones and the other has got a few more pink tones maybe from memory. But it's nothing special. It's a bathroom. It's got a shower tub combo, a sink using those parenthood counters, a toilet. And that's kind of it. And then you saw the twin child's room as well. So the twin child's room has got the bunk beds in it. Only the one desk, and then lots and lots of clutter. I think that they maybe the two of them kind of compete with space a little bit, but I thought I decorated it as if maybe they had a lot of shared hobbies, so they didn't clash too much in terms of personality. That would definitely be awkward if they had to share a room and they didn't like each other. So lucky for my imaginary Sims, they like each other. And then the living area, or the sitting space upstairs where I was talking earlier about the hamster, and then I used that really gorgeous piece that's the old school record player. Oh, I love it so much, but it functions as well as a music player, which is super cute. I don't know if your Sims would hang out there that much other than to maybe feed the hamster and play some music. And a guitar and the knitting, well, not the knitting, but the cross stitch box. Now, I have play tested this build and everything functions. However, there is a caveat. That cross stitch box, if you want your Sim to use it, your Sim won't be able to interact with it where it's sitting right now, but you can drag it into your Sim's inventory and then your Sim can use the cross stitch. So other than that, everything should be straightforward. It's just that I didn't really want to compromise on where I placed it. So sorry if that bugs you, but I thought, style over substance in this case. Because you can drag it, I thought it wasn't that big a deal. And then I decorated the master bedrooms for the parents, or the parent if you just have the one parent. Double bed and a nice big rug. I also placed a fireplace in the parents' room. I hadn't placed one downstairs, and once I got upstairs I realized that I'd built a chimney on the outside of the house, and obviously it's The Sims. You don't have to make it practical, or it doesn't have to make any sense whatsoever, but that's just how my brain works. I need it to kind of make some sort of sense at least. Then I move on to one of the teen rooms, which is like a dark blue space kind of themed bedroom with a single bed. And actually the Sim I was imagining was really into collecting maybe like anime, those kinds of things, those like pop figure things that are characters, but they're, I don't know, those things that people go crazy over, and they're like toys with the big heads and the tiny bodies, those things. And yeah, they just like collecting toys and stuff like that, and they're into space and those kinds of things. So I went with a blue theme, used that really awesome room divider, which again I think came from Parenthood. I gave them a desk as well and a little journal to write all their teen thoughts in. I also put a school bag in every single one of the kids' rooms. Obviously, I put 2 in the twins' room and 1 in each of the teen rooms. And as much clutter as I kind of thought made sense. I didn't want to clutter it up too much that, your sim couldn't walk around, because the rooms aren't that big. I wanted them to be practical still, but I wanted it to look like a teenager lived here, which, let's be honest, most teenagers are kind of messy, haven't quite perfected the art of cleaning stuff up yet, or at least most teenagers I know. I'm sure there are exceptions, and I'm probably causing a lot of people to type into the comments now, I was really tidy when I was a teenager. Okay, sure. Then after that room, I move on to the other teen's room. Now this teen's room, I imagine this is the oldest child, and maybe they are in their last year of school. They're getting ready for university. They are starting to think about what they want to be when they're older, what they want to do. And I had an idea for the sim, and I thought, it's kind of difficult to portray it in the decorations, but I wanted to give it a go. So you can let me know how, successful or completely off the mark I was with this. But this sim, in my mind, is a real outgoing sim who is really into campaigning for all sorts of rights, and they are really into kind of human rights and saving the planet and just the big issues in life. And they're very outspoken, opinionated. They will go on any sort of march or demonstration that's going. They're probably already sort of mingling a little bit with university aged kids and trying to get in that crowd as much as possible. So I tried to portray it with this room. I gave them the art easel as maybe something they could use to create their own placards and picket signs. So maybe they go out petitioning for things. So hopefully that room has that vibe to it. That's what I was going for, at least. And you can let me know if I was successful or not. The little hallway just outside all those rooms, I kept super simple. I just put a little side table and some really plain decorations down there. Then I moved to the backyard, and I love the backyard. I think it's really cute. There are a couple of things I particularly love about it. Actually, there's more than a couple. I'm very proud of this backyard. My favorite thing about it is the fire pit. I love this sunken fire pit. I think it's cute. I think it's definitely something that maybe the parents made, maybe they got the kids involved as well, gave everyone a shovel and was like, we're going to build this fire pit together so we can hang out as a family, roast marshmallows, etc. I thought that was adorable, if I do say so myself. I also used this really awesome debug fence around a piece of the backyard that I wanted to create a half basketball court for. yeah, I expect the kids are probably also really active. Maybe they do a lot of after school activities. They're involved in a lot of sports. Maybe one or two of the kids are super into basketball. But it's pretty, like, I would consider having a basketball court in your backyard to be quite a privilege. I would definitely, if I knew someone growing up that had a basketball court in their backyard, or even just a half court like this, I would consider them pretty well off. So that's why I do think this family is, they're not for want of money. Is that the term? No. I don't know. Anyway, I think they're doing fine for themselves. I love the shape of the pool too. And then I merge this round table with a debug. It might not be a debug, it might be live edit. I'm never sure which one is which. Umbrella from My Wedding Stories. And then I also use one of those really cool umbrellas from My Wedding Stories that has been it's tied away. I love that piece. I think it's so cool. So I use that beside the lounge chairs, and I use the open one on the table. And then I work on the landscaping, which I keep pretty simple. Again, I've gone on and on about this in my previous builds. I generally use the rule of threes when it comes to landscaping. I don't like to go overboard with colors. I like to keep things fairly simple, generally just like one brighter color and maybe a white or a light yellow, and then green. Just green everywhere. I love green. I love foliage. So yeah, pretty simple landscaping design for the house. I thought that they're not really big gardeners as such. They're more like activity based families, so it was more important for me to get things like the basketball court, the fire pit, the swimming pool, all of that kind of stuff in, and then foliage and landscaping was kind of second to all of that. Lastly, I work on finally this mystery room that I didn't know what to do with, so I turned it into an office. And it's an office, in my mind at least, it's an office for one of the parents who is like an intrepid explorer, or maybe some kind of paleontologist, or I don't know, they're really into that kind of stuff, exploring and discovering artifacts and yeah, cool fun things like that. Okay, so I was a little worried I wouldn't be able to talk for 40 minutes, but apparently I didn't have much trouble at all with that. I'm just waffling on. I apologize. Screenshots will be here shortly, and if you enjoyed this build and you'd like it in your game, you can download it on the EA Gallery. It will be up shortly after this video goes live, and my EA Gallery ID is KiwiSimsKate. You can find this build and all of my other ones there. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. It helps the channel greatly, and hit that subscribe button so you will get notified when all my videos go live. You can also follow me on my socials, Instagram and Twitter, KiwiSimsKate, or join me live twice a week where I stream at twitch.tv/KiwiSimsKate. Thank you so much for watching this build. I hope you enjoyed it. Take care out there. Bye.